Specific claims. The Government of Canada is working with the Assembly of First Nations, and others to improve the specific claims process. This includes looking at ways to improve public reporting on specific claims. This webpage reflects the current specific claims process. It will be updated as this joint work evolves. Righting past wrongs and building for the future. Canada has embarked on a journey of reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. It is a necessary journey to address a long history of colonialism and the scars it has left. The Government of Canada is committed to renewing its relationship with Indigenous peoples based on recognition of rights, respect, cooperation, and partnership. Settling specific claims is one of many steps on the journey to reconciliation with First Nations and helps create a better future for everyone. Specific claim settlements help to right past wrongs, renew relationships and advance reconciliation in a way that respects the rights of First Nations and all Canadians. The Government of Canada has a policy and process in place for addressing specific claims through negotiations with First Nations. However, First Nations and others, including the Auditor General of Canada, have called for major changes to the way these claims are handled by the government. Canada has heard these concerns and is working closely with First Nation partners to respond to these calls and overhaul its specific claims process. These web pages reflect the current process and will be updated as this important joint work evolves. Ongoing joint work to improve the process. Canada is working with the Assembly of First Nations, and other interested parties in a spirit of cooperation and renewal to find fair and practical ways to improve the specific claims process. These discussions began in June 2016. Priorities that have been identified so far include the need for funding to support the research and development of claims, the process to resolve claims with a value greater than $150 million, the use of mediation in negotiation processes, clarity with respect to public reporting. This ongoing work is looking at recent court and tribunal decisions and previous reviews of the process, including the recommendations for reforms made in the following reports. Report by the House of Commons Standing Committee on Public Accounts. Auditor General's Report on Specific Claims. Archived, 5-year review of the Specific Claims Tribunal Act. Negotiation or confrontation, it's Canada's choice, final report of the Standing Senate Committee on Aboriginal Peoples. At the same time, Canada has begun to make initial changes to improve the way it handles specific claims and better support its goal to build stronger relationships with First Nations and advance reconciliation through the process. For example, Canada has increased communication with First Nations at the front end of the process and has adopted a more collaborative approach to negotiations on all claims, including on small value claims. This includes ensuring that claims valued at $3 million or less no longer follow a separate process and these First Nations can still access funding to support negotiations. Updates on these overall efforts will be provided to First Nations and other interested parties through announcements, updates to online information and other outreach tools as key developments occur. Canada is committed to continuing to work with First Nations across the country to reach fair and final settlements to resolve their long-standing claims. What are specific claims? Specific claims deal with past wrongs against First Nations. These claims, made by First Nations against the Government of Canada, relate to the administration of land and other First Nation assets and to the fulfillment of historic treaties and other agreements. For example, a specific claim could involve the failure to provide enough reserve land as promised in a treaty or the improper handling of First Nation money by the federal government in the past. Specific claims are separate and distinct from comprehensive land claims or modern treaties. The Government of Canada works with First Nations to resolve outstanding specific claims through negotiated settlements. The specific claims process is voluntary for First Nations and provides a way to resolve disputes outside of the court system. Settling claims is the right thing to do. Negotiated settlements honor treaty and other legal obligations and resolve long-standing disputes in a balanced way that respects the rights of all Canadians. Settlements provide First Nations with capital that can be invested in new opportunities for community and economic development that can benefit First Nations and their neighbors. The Government of Canada does not take away land from third parties to settle specific claims. For more information on how to proceed with a specific claim for your community, click the link below and contact us. Thank you.